Hello and welcome back to a new episode of In Corto arte. My name is Rita, but what we're going to talk about today? Let's see. Today we're going to talk about metamorphosis. But what does this word mean? Metamorphosis is the process in which a being or a thing changes its shape and nature. In a simpler way, metamorphosis happens when something changes into something else. In nature, metamorphosis happens when plants or animals change their appearance. For example, we can see this happening in the circle of life of a butterfly. Starting from an egg, it changes into a caterpillar, then into a chrysalis, and finally it changes into a beautiful butterfly. In myth and fairy tales, we can read stories in which people and things transform into something different. Let's think about Circe, the sorceress, who is in the Odyssey, transformed men into pigs. Or when Pinocchio changes into a donkey, or even Professor McGonagall, who in Harry Potter could transform into a cat. In the history of art too, artists represented metamorphosis. For instance, the sculpture Apollo and Daphne by Gian Lorenzo Bernini shows us the moment when Daphne is transformed into a tree to escape from Apollo's love. Or let's have a look at this painting called Metamorphosis of Narcissus by Salvador Dalí. Now let's see other three examples on how artists have used metamorphosis in their artwork. The printmaker Maurice Cornelis Escher works with the boundaries of imagination. In his artworks, thanks to strange symmetries and impossible perspectives, it is possible to find images that transform into something completely different. Carefully using light and dark, and always changing between the two-dimensional and the three-dimensional, Escher creates new, magical worlds where metamorphosis is everywhere. Just like Escher, Italian artist Paolo Bresciani works with metamorphosis and transformation by using a graphic design software to transform the images of his artworks. The artist gradually alters his subject to become something completely new by using a slow process called morphing. By the fragmenting of edge and lines, Bresciani wants to investigate the concept of through existence and show how seemingly distant elements evolve and change in relation to each other. Photographer Karl Baden, by shooting his first picture in 1987, initiated his artwork called Every Day. This is made by a series of photographic self-portraits that the artist made in the same pose and using the same camera every day for 30 years. In this way, Baden's worked with his identity and appearance in order to investigate his own changes. What we can see is the slow and almost invisible transformation of the human body, which modifies little by little every day into something different but still recognizable. Now that we have explored three artists who dedicated their artwork to metamorphosis, it is your turn to try and create a change in artwork. We will need an image of an object or a person, some clear acetate sheets, colored permanent markers. Take your image and layer it with the sheets of acetate. Using a marker, draw on top of your image, trying to change it into something completely different, but still recognizable. As you can see, you already have a change in drawing. However, we could transform it even further. Do not be afraid to try to go the extra mile by sticking different materials to create a collage. Just as we did in our first video on impossible architecture, remember? This is my change in drawing. I've started from a picture of myself, and then I thought that my highs and lows were a good base to create a tree and a funny forest with funny shapes. But then I decided I wanted to be myself again, so I just created my portrait with funny curly hair to remind of the clouds here. Thank you for being with us today and creating your changing drawings. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and click on the bell button to access all our videos. Also, come and find us on our social media and share your artworks with us. We will see you next time. Changed, but always the same. Bye!